I'm wondering, why haven't I received a reply to the message I sent yet? Did I say something inappropriate? Maybe they're upset with something I did. I remember the joke I made last time. I know they didn't like that. I need to focus. And these back pains? Could it be a health problem or just the result of my workout? I need to decide what to wear. I've been so distracted today. I should have meditated this morning. No wonder my mind is so restless. We often overthink, and there are many reasons for that. In this video, I will show you how to deal with this issue in a practical way. Make sure to watch until the end, because the information will be incredibly valuable and helpful. Overthinking, also known as rumination, is the act of repeatedly and irrationally dwelling on a situation. We often try to explain our irrational emotions using logic, overanalyzing the situation, which only fuels this cycle of thoughts. This intense focus on a single problem or thought causes other areas of life, like health or relationships, to be neglected. Remember, when you focus all your attention and energy on one thing, you leave out other important aspects. Sometimes overthinking is an attempt to control a situation, seeking a false sense of confidence about the next steps. Our brain, in an attempt to reduce anxiety, often imagines possible scenarios and tries to predict the future. This is especially true for Type A individuals, perfectionists, and high achievers. If you hold yourself to high standards, you might start reflecting excessively on your actions, like worrying about not following a morning routine that supposedly leads to success. Overthinkers often seek structure, want to know what to expect next, and struggle with uncertainty because they feel lost in the face of the unknown. This continuous cycle of overthinking can cloud the mind and cause discomfort, leading to a constant state of rumination. It's crucial to find ways to handle this so that overthinking doesn't take over our lives. If your mind is always racing, enjoying life can become a challenge. I want to share some personal experiences about my own overthinking. For context, I'm quite tall. When I was younger, I felt that my height made others anxious when I entered a room or interacted with someone. This unconsciously led me not to stand tall so I wouldn't seem intimidating. I didn't want others to feel inferior or threatened by me. In sports, it was different. I was competitive and accepted that someone might feel intimidated. But in social situations, it was different. Over time, I began to understand and correct this behavior. In college, I worked at a computer store, selling printers, a typical job for students. One day, when I walked into the store, a coworker came up and said, "You walk in here like you own the place." This shows how, over time, I changed my posture and presence. When I heard that, a thought occurred to me. Does he feel insecure because of my confident posture when I walk in? I laughed at it but reflected internally. His interpretation of my confidence wasn't about me, it was about him. Why should I worry about his insecurities regarding my self-confidence? That's something he needs to face. My confident walk is exposing a weakness in him, a reflection of something he needs to work on. Recognizing this, I started to question where else in my life I was giving too much importance to others' opinions. Where else was I hesitating to act? It's not that I never doubt myself, but now I can reorient myself quickly. I understand a lot about the mind, and meditation helps me overcome these obstacles. To deal with overthinking, it's crucial to learn to appreciate the unknown. People with Type A personalities who are high achievers and set high standards for themselves need to adapt to the inherent uncertainty of life. This involves loosening the daily structure, trying new things and challenges, and becoming comfortable with uncertainties. Another important strategy is to reduce dependence on outcomes. This means developing a spiritual detachment from desires and goals. While it may seem contradictory, it's essential to be okay with the possibility that what we want may not materialize and be mentally prepared to accept that. Accepting detachment in certain areas of life is beneficial, as it prevents these goals from constantly consuming us. Additionally, it's important to learn to value failures and mistakes. These experiences are rich sources of learning, and can contribute significantly to who we become. Failing helps build character, something crucial in a society where many don't face enough challenges to develop resilience and strength of character. Stagnation occurs when failure is avoided, but embracing it can lead to significant personal growth. For example, creating a YouTube channel or developing a business often stems from the ability to overcome failures. Furthermore, facing failure contributes to humility and ego control, keeping us grounded as we move forward in life. Achieving great things while staying humble is an ideal balance, like a cloud nourishing the earth. This combination of success and humility is powerful. Failure, in turn, increases appreciation for success. This relates to the law of polarity, which suggests that the existence of opposites makes us value each aspect more. For instance, the experience of not being good at something in the past, like speaking in front of a camera, over time and with practice, can become something natural and fluent. Previous failures and attempts, even those that weren't published or I didn't like, are part of the learning process. They help develop skills and become comfortable with the possibility of failure. This reduces overthinking and anxiety around new challenges. It's important to identify triggers that cause overthinking or anxiety. Recognizing them can help manage reactions better and prevent these triggers from negatively affecting your performance or well-being. Excessive worry is often linked to the ego and the identity we create for ourselves. For example, a parent overly concerned about being late for their child's basketball game might be acting this way because of their self-constructed identity as an exemplary parent, always present. Being late threatens this image, causing stress and anxiety. Similarly, an athlete afraid of making mistakes in a baseball game might be overly focused on maintaining the identity of being a great, perfect, and infallible athlete. These examples show how overthinking can be associated with the fear of not living up to the image we've created for ourselves. This reveals a deep concern about maintaining a certain persona, which in turn can increase stress and anxiety when faced with situations that challenge that identity. By understanding this connection between the ego and overthinking, we can start working on detaching from these rigid identities, thereby reducing the anxiety and stress associated with them. This reflection highlights how fear and resistance to failure or negative outcomes can be intrinsically linked to attachment to a specific identity. For example, an athlete afraid of underperforming in a game might be overly attached to their identity of always excelling. This fear can ironically harm their performance, as resistance and anxiety hinder a relaxed and fluid mental state essential for a good game. It's crucial to recognize how overthinking can be related to the ego and the identity we assume. For example, someone who sees themselves as a high achiever might excessively worry about relaxing because it seems contrary to their self-image. However, even high achievers need moments of rest. It's important to reevaluate and perhaps detach from such rigid identities. Reframing overthinking means changing the perspective on a situation, adopting a different view of the same scenario. A useful technique can be self-affirmation, like saying, "I'm doing this because," which helps to contextualize actions and thoughts, giving them a clearer purpose and reducing anxiety and overthinking. This example illustrates well how self-awareness can help understand and reframe overthinking. By recognizing that certain thoughts and behaviors are driven by the need to maintain an identity, such as that of a high achiever, we can start observing these thoughts without judgment. This conscious observation allows for the understanding that actions and worries are often a way to protect the ego associated with that identity. It's important to remember that life is full of nuances, and that we are not always acting within a single identity. For example, a store manager who performs various tasks outside of work, such as being in traffic, going to the doctor, caring for family, or dealing with household matters. These aspects highlight that the identity of a store manager is just one facet of this person's life and doesn't completely define who they are. Likewise, someone specializing in nursing may be a novice in another area, like karate. This demonstrates that different areas of life require different skills and approaches, and that identity in one area doesn't automatically translate to competence in another. This understanding can help relieve the burden of overthinking and self-judgment by recognizing that it's natural to have different levels of skill and knowledge in various areas of life. The reflection on the nursing specialist learning karate is an excellent example of how embracing novelty and learning in different areas of life shows that it's natural and healthy not to be a master in every field, and that we should be open to being beginners and learning in new contexts. This helps relieve the burden of overthinking because it allows us to accept that we don't have to be perfect in all areas. The feeling meditation technique is indeed a valuable tool for managing overthinking and understanding the connection between mind and emotions. By practicing it, you directly connect with the emotions triggered by your thoughts, which provides greater insight into how they affect your emotional and physical state. During this meditation, you focus on intentionally feeling the emotions associated with your thoughts without trying to judge or change them. This practice helps recognize that thoughts are just thoughts and don't define reality. Over time, you learn to detach emotions from thoughts, realizing that a thought in itself is neutral until we assign it emotional meaning. By separating thoughts and emotions, you gain more control over your emotional and physical response, becoming less susceptible to the stress and anxiety generated by overthinking. This practice can lead to greater emotional balance and a better quality of life, as it allows you to approach thoughts in a calmer and more centered way. Practicing meditation, especially when focused on observing thoughts and feelings without judgment, can be an effective tool for slowing down the frenetic pace of the mind and achieving a state of greater calm and serenity. The use of binaural beats available on YouTube is a valuable recommendation for enhancing this practice. Binaural beats are sounds that can influence the brain's state, guiding it into a state of relaxation or focus, depending on the frequency used. Alpha binaural beats are particularly useful for overthinkers because alpha brainwaves are associated with states of calm and meditation. In neuroscience, beta brainwave patterns are associated with intense mental activities like information processing, conversation, and taking action. In contrast, alpha brainwaves are slower and typically occur in meditative or relaxed states. By meditating with alpha binaural beats, you can help your brain transition from the agitated beta wave state to a more relaxed and meditative alpha wave state. This can be beneficial for reducing overthinking and achieving a calmer and more serene mind. Feeling meditation is an effective technique for calming racing thoughts and bringing serenity, especially by reducing brainwaves to the alpha state, which allows for a more logical view of situations due to less interference from mental noise. Additionally, it's important to learn to deal with catastrophizing, understanding that often the worst imagined scenario doesn't occur or isn't as bad as we think. Even in cases where fears do come true, we have a great capacity for adaptation and resilience. For example, someone worried about a muscle injury may discover it's serious, but over time, that person adapts and learns to deal with the new reality. This shows how we are capable of adjusting to different situations, finding new ways of normalcy, and overcoming challenges. When someone faces a difficult situation, like discovering a severe muscle injury, it's natural to feel bad for a while, be it for hours or even days. But over time, this situation begins to integrate into daily life as the new reality. The person may find themselves thinking about treatment options like surgery or rest, and adapting to the situation based on medical advice. Even if the advice is something simple like applying ice, the important thing is that eventually, the person gets used to this new reality. With acceptance, the situation may begin to improve, demonstrating the human capacity for adaptation and overcoming challenges and unexpected changes in life. The key point is to maintain a positive perspective, even in the face of the worst-case scenario, which rarely materializes. It's important to have faith, whether in your ability to overcome and recover, or in a higher power, such as a religious belief or trust in the universe. This faith is crucial for facing challenging situations. Additionally, it's essential not to fall into the trap of overthinking about overthinking, which can create a vicious cycle of anxiety and worry. It's a mental game where self-knowledge and self-confidence play an important role. Recognizing and accepting that even in difficult moments, there is the possibility of improvement and growth is key to maintaining emotional and mental balance. This approach helps minimize the negative impact of overthinking and promotes a healthier, more resilient attitude in the face of life's challenges. Recognizing when we're overthinking is the first step to dealing with it. When we realize we're falling into this cycle, we can stop and consciously observe our thoughts without judging ourselves. This non-judgmental self-observation is crucial because we are often too critical of ourselves and others. Judging less, both ourselves and others, is a key to a happier life. Judgments often carry negative emotional baggage and can generate a cycle of anxious and negative thoughts. Reducing these judgments helps lessen neurotic emotional projections and creates a healthier mental environment. Additionally, it's important to pay attention to the words we use. Words are not just sequences of letters. They have meaning, vibration, and impact. The way we communicate, both internally and externally, can deeply affect our emotional and mental state. By being more mindful of the words we choose and how we express ourselves, we can contribute to a more positive and balanced mindset. Understanding the power of words makes it clear that they can have a significant impact on both ourselves and others. Words carry energy and emotions and can shape the way we think and feel. They have the ability to influence our mental and emotional well-being, reinforcing the importance of choosing our words carefully. When it comes to understanding others, it's crucial to avoid assumptions and guesswork. We often try to interpret people's actions and motivations based on our own perspectives, which can lead to misunderstandings. Instead, direct and open communication is essential. Asking people about their thoughts and motivations can clarify situations, avoid confusion, and build stronger, more authentic relationships. This not only improves our interpersonal relationships, but also helps develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. When we communicate with someone, we usually gain much more context about the situation, which is crucial to avoid misunderstandings. Communication is fundamental to clarifying doubts, especially when we're uncertain about something regarding another person. Trying to guess others' motivations without directly talking to them can lead to overthinking, so it's important to open that channel of dialogue. Additionally, communication isn't limited to others. We can and should communicate with ourselves. This can be done through self-questioning, a useful practice when we're overthinking. Talking to yourself, either out loud or internally, helps organize your thoughts. Starting with phrases like, "I'm doing this because," can be an effective way to understand the underlying motivations and thoughts. Another useful technique is journaling. Writing down thoughts like, "I'm overthinking right now," can help transfer thoughts from the mind to paper, making them easier to visualize and understand. This process of externalizing thoughts can be an effective method for managing overthinking. Journaling helps relieve the mental burden, like a form of venting, and is a way of communicating with yourself. When we're insecure or confused, this self-communication is as vital as communication with others, promoting self-integration. This process results in deep self-knowledge, where you become immune to others' opinions because you already know yourself deeply. Adopting the mantra, "It doesn't matter," can be an effective method to combat overthinking. This mantra reminds us that many concerns are temporary and not as impactful in the long term. Viewing life as an experience not to be taken too seriously helps cultivate a lighter and more optimistic attitude, making it easier to face daily challenges with a calmer and more positive perspective. You've made it to the end, and that says a lot about you. Thank you for dedicating your time to this video on overcoming overthinking. Your journey to a more serene and focused mind begins with each step you take, and this video is just the beginning. Now, I invite you to take the next step. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone who might also benefit from it. And don't stop here. Practice the techniques we discussed, whether it's meditation, reflective journaling, or open and honest communication with yourself and others. Remember, personal growth is a continuous process, and every small action counts, and I'd love to hear about your journey. Leave a comment below sharing how you deal with overthinking or a strategy that worked for you. Your experience might be the light someone else needs to find their way. Lastly, if you want to continue this journey of self-awareness and growth, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss our upcoming videos, filled with insights and strategies for a more peaceful and balanced life. Together, let's turn overthinking into clarity and purpose. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.